Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to kick off another Friday night in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and all wrestling matters, and talk with a man that's got a lot to say. He's going to give us an update if you've been following the IMF about what this young man, is dealing with. He'll talk about that, but he'll also give his hard hitting analysis on what's to come next Saturday, just 8 days away. The next IMF show in the Palo Community Center, Rage in the Cage. And what does he think about House of Wolves members like Anthony Steele, the real deal Anthony Steele, who last week, Jesus Christ, he almost got us thrown off YouTube for threatening to burn Ula Falas on the air, talking about cancer. And I'll ask our guest what his thoughts are on that match with Anthony Steele, Il Drago, a man who he's been in the ring with, and of course, the one and only Darkron. I will definitely ask our guest here about what his thoughts, though, are on that IMF World Heavyweight Championship, a match that many would say is, I don't know, 18 months in the making, give or take, between, I guess, one of his fathers still. Are we still going with that? Of course, we're talking about Justin Parsley, the one and only hall monitor of Sportswire Radio, the first real wrestler, and against the man that our guest was recently in the ring with not too long ago, that boogeyman of the Midwest, that hardcore god, Omen Black. But we won't be seeing Justin Parsley and Omen Black. I'll explain. And we'll certainly get into a number of different things here with Rage in the Cage next Saturday. But before we do that, our guest for you, I have a surprise for you. No, it's not Anthony Steele coming on here and telling everybody that's what I do and threatening to burn your leg or burn the not yet. No, that's not the surprise.
We don't need Anthony tonight.
No, I do have a surprise for you that I definitely think that you will like. But before we get there, and since we are in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and the IMF most certainly helped build, where all these big shots, all these celebrities have been on this platform recently and helped us get to nearly 1,500 subscribers. I have to give you this introduction because I really haven't got a chance to give you this many times over the years. So now I'm going to give you that chance. And I see our chat is starting to build. My eye is about to burn, which means I've only got an hour and a half before I have to rub it again. And then I'll be in the shower. Then I'll be burning it again. And then my intro will be burning through my ears. But let's forget about all of that. Forget about pollen. Forget about the allergies. We are allergic to all of that because we are on Sportswire Radio. In the words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rocked, baby, and start the show off in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show. A man who you might say has two dads. A man who you might say has actually wrestled not one, but two blacks. A man that is certainly one of the up-and-coming wrestlers in the wrestling world. His name is simply put, the Prince of Professional Wrestling, Felix My friend, how are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Tom. How are you doing?
Ask me in an hour and a half, and you might see my firefighter shirt on. I might need the fire department here to put out the fire from my intro through my chest and everything else. But we do this every time, and I'm sure the next guest tomorrow, I forgot who's on tomorrow. We'll certainly ask them that question then. But I did not forget about Felix Jones. How could I forget about you? I'll never forget about Felix Jones. But I want to start because there is a lot to talk about here, and we are in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, a platform you and the IMF most certainly helped build. But before I get into Rage in the Cage, I have to talk about the video you posted last week. And for those that are listening and watching in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform where all music and wrestling matters, the prince of professional wrestling, Felix Jones, how are you doing?
Well, I'm all right, I guess. I mean, it's a lot to take in. It happened. If you don't know, I tore my abductor muscle, which is the muscle that goes pretty much from your groin all the way down to your knee.
Oh my God.
And I don't know. It sucks, but there's really nothing I can do about it. It happened, and I'm ready to start working towards getting back, because it happened at a time where everything was starting to
the wheels
fall
were
into
coming
place,
into
I guess you
motion
could
for you.
say.
Yeah, you were like becoming.
Yeah.
We could see it. CJ Black, Omen Black, Il Drago, everything that's been going on.
Damian Saint. Yeah, everything was falling into place, and it just like that, everything was taken away. It was all gone.
So how do you try to stay positive? How do you try to keep focus and eventually getting back here and just doing what you've done these last few months?
It's hard. It's hard, but you just gotta. I don't know. You just gotta think of what's gonna happen when I do return. Like, you gotta think of the possibilities now that have opened, that it has happened, I guess you can say.
Right.
Like the changes that are gonna have to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good point. Let me ask you this question, and I've known you a while, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask it to you anyway. Is this the most difficult injury you've dealt with so far?
Oh yeah, for sure. If you don't know, if you've been a fan of the channel, you know I've suffered that ankle injury way back when, and then I've also last year, I do believe so, I broke the bone in my hand. But
yes, I do remember you being on here with a hand cast.
But
yeah.
I will say this one has been probably the most difficult one, because it's probably the worst one. It happened.
I mean, I don't even think I've heard of an abductor injury before. Like, I mean, I don't know if I've heard of that.
If you've kept up with WWE, Rey Mysterio actually just suffered like literally the same thing. Like, he just did pretty much the same thing I did, which I don't know like how the timing on that.
So Rey Mysterio is going to have to ask you for advice. I mean, that's what I think our
Or maybe I have to ask him for advice. I don't know.
No, I think he has to ask you for advice because you're the prince of professional wrestling. And
You're right. Yeah.
But I mean, that, obviously, I guess it's good that it happens now rather than, let's say, a few months from now and something else happens or whatever else, and you kind of learn with it and you deal with it, and that's all you can really do. I mean, so ultimately, is there a timeline that you think you'll be back in, or you don't know yet?
I have no clue. Like, no.
Because you also play football. You've also done actual
Yeah,
amateur wrestling. So
basketball. Yeah,
you're an
I
athlete.
do.
I mean, like, because I've known you a while. I mean, I've seen you. I know you play football. I know you've done wrestling. I know you've done basketball. So this has really got to be killing you because I mean, basketball. The season's kind of just over in high school basketball. So at least you got that out of the way. But you're getting ready for football in a few months, and you're doing other things. And I mean, it's got to be tough because you love to be active.
Yeah, I am a very like active person even outside of that. Like I love going on walks. Like I love just being doing something, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, like this change you have to like I have to change my whole daily routine pretty much. Like it went from
Yeah.
being outside with friends doing all this activities to laying in
Yeah, I
bed,
remember I had when I was
wheelchair.
yeah, I remember when I think I was 16, I had a kidney stone and it was like I used, I was always active and I wasn't playing competitively like you and certainly wrestling, but I always played sports. I was good at bowling, different things, and I remember I had a kidney stone. I had to get it out, I had blockage. I had to go to the hospital. The only time I've ever went to the hospital in my life. And it was like weird because I'm used to being outside. I'm used to being physical. And it was an adjustment. And it took me like originally thought I would get over it in like a month. I didn't get 100% until like 3-4 months later. And I was never the same really, for a while. So it takes time. Obviously, you'll definitely recover. We'll get to everybody here in the chat in a second. So definitely, I'm sure that we'll see you eventually in the ring. And I'm sure that you'll have something else to talk about later on with that. But let's get into Rage in the Cage because that is really the reason you were here. Because, we were talking about Omen Black coming on here, the boogeyman of the Midwest, the hardcore guy. But you know what? The Prince of Professional Wrestling, he knows Justin Parsley almost better than anybody. He knows Omen Black almost better than anybody because, well, he wrestled the man. Although Omen Black said that we weren't getting Omen Black coming up here next
I-
week. Yeah, I know. I know. It's a long story, and I'm sure we'll talk
How
about it here.
he's
Yeah.
the champion. How do we not get I'm
Well, that's what he said on Sportswire, and it was mentioned in the chat a couple of times this past week. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out eventually. All of you will be back here next Thursday night. So, what is your opinion here coming up at Rage in the Cage? Let's go into it. Let's start with actually Anthony Steele, Darkron, and a man you have a lot of history with, Mr. Il Drago, the High Chief, the Underground OG, and the most controversial figure in Sportswire radio history, a man that is inching up the ladder in terms of Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame inductions, right there with, I guess, your other father, Justin Parsley. And what's your opinions here on this triple threat here next Saturday?
Well, I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to watch it. I dislike Steele, but I can't deny he has talent. Like he's not. Yeah, he can sort of walk the walk in a way, but he talks the talk big, and it pisses a lot of people off, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I had one wrestler when
and
he was here last Saturday, and there was, I won't say who it was. There was one wrestler in the chat who was commenting, and I know he's not here tonight. I could bet my life on it. And he was visibly upset with Steele. He doesn't work in the IMF, and I was kind of wondering, well, okay, yeah, don't worry. When you come on, Anthony won't be on, and it was just rather interesting. But yeah, Anthony certainly is Anthony, and that's what he does, as he famously says. And he really wants to get under the skin of a man you have a lot of history with, an Il Drago, the High Chief, and he wants to burn those Ulafalas.
I I don't know if Steele. I don't. There's two foundation members in this match.
Yep.
And yes, I know they say it's every man for themselves, but Steele has said some things to both
Oh,
of
I
these
mean, listen, we're
men
talking about
that
cancer.
yeah,
Steele
yeah.
talking about
He
cancer
said
and
some
burning a
things
man's
that you just
Ulafalas,
don't talk
and
about.
then doing it in front of Il Drago's other
And
half. I
so
mean, it's
and so you
crazy.
can't so you there's no doubt in my mind there's most definitely going to be some sort of like teaming up on Steele in a way. But at the same time, I don't. I guess we'll just have to find out. We'll have to find out.
I mean, well, you did mention something interesting, and it seems like Drago and Darkron have a deep respect for each other. They're on the same side, but could it be possible that maybe they get mixed up with each other and Anthony Steele continues his reign as the longest IMF United States champion in history?
I
I mean
mean,
that's
it is possible. We've seen it with Drago and Saint last
yep.
month,
I'm gonna
where
get to him. Oh, I'm gonna get
yeah,
to him.
yeah, we've seen that. So I mean, it is very much possible, but I am praying that Steele does not keep this U.S. title.
You've had a lot of history with all these men, and you've been in the ring with most recently Il Drago. And what do
Mhm.
you think that the High Chief needs to do in order to walk away with the IMF United States Championship, especially after pinning Anthony Steele? Although Steele basically said he got the last laugh because he has the ULA followers, but we do know that Drago pinned Anthony Steele at SiberSlam. So, what's your thoughts on some of that?
Drago needs to keep that momentum alive. Like he pinned, like you said, he pinned him last month. So if he's done it before, so he knows it's possible. Just carry that momentum over. Steele might have got the last laugh, but like you said, Drago did pin him. Like it's very much possible.
Absolutely, no question that it is going to be very exciting to see. And I did want to put up the IMF's YouTube channel. So if you're here, and we'll get to everybody in the chat. I know somebody on Instagram, your cousin, I know, is out there watching on Instagram, and Princess JD. I always get tagged on Instagram, and I'm like, who is this? And she keeps reminding me that it's your cousin, and she's watching, and a lot of people are watching. So thank you very much for that. But if you, for whatever reason, haven't subbed to the IMF's YouTube channel, which would certainly baffle me at this point, hit the sub button for them. They're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. I remember when they came here on Sportswire, I think they might have just got 1,000, maybe even less than that. I remember it was, yeah,
Yeah,
I think the IMF was less than 1,000 subs, and we're almost at
we've
4,000. So it's
we've
been a
came a
long.
long way. Wow.
It's, and you guys are selling tickets. I'm donating too next week. I always donate 2 tickets to every show, so somebody can go out
Thank you.
there and
Thank you.
watch. No, that's okay. It's my pleasure. It's Omen's platform. Although you would get mad at me for
Uh,
saying that, but you know,
uh,
but I want to talk about your daddy, your actual, I think real daddy at this point, Soldier GP, and he's going to be wrestling Jason Storm, and I kind of think this is the most fascinating match to me in a lot of different ways, and you've been up there in ROEW. You certainly have a lot of history there. You have a lot of history with the good guy CJ Black, and what do you think here in this match? It's a champion versus champion match. It's the ROEW champion, Jason Storm, who, he has been given James Taylor nightmares.
yeah.
James Taylor, and your dad actually agrees with Jason on this, but these two men are going to be squaring off. Your dad says it's the R Wrestling Matters championship that he holds, and Jason's got the ROEW title. So what do you think happens here in this?
Um, I mean, like you said, Jason's ROEW world champion, so you can't deny it will be a tough task for Soldier, my dad. But I think ultimately I think he's gonna get it done. I think the built up anger that Soldier has against Justin or Jason, my
Jason, yeah.
bad, Jason, that's my
That was like
fault.
6 months ago. Yeah, you were here
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
that's my bad.
No,
My
it's
bad.
okay. No, that's
But
okay. We're gonna get
I think the
stuff
built
on.
up anger that he has, I think with what Jason did last month, I think it's ultimately gonna come and haunt him, and Soldier will get the victory.
Well, I think Soldier's definitely been, talking about this a lot for sure. And again, Jason has been very impressive in his own right. But some would say this is the battle of who is the best underground champion. Omen would definitely have something else to say about that. But I would also think that some would actually say that Jason Storm maybe in a way is responsible for the new formation of the House of Wolves. Let's go back all those months ago. Think about it, right? When Jason Storm beat Omen Black, that was the beginning of the seeds of what Omen Black has become. We've talked about this here on Sportswire. We've even seen now sort of a mutual respect between Storm and Omen Black, and we know what Jason Storm did when he was last here in the IMF. And I mean, what is your thoughts? And he's also talked about Justin Parsley being poisoned by your dad now, and being twisted. I mean, so in some ways, Jason Storm, he does have some responsibilities for this incarnation of the House of Wolves. I mean, what is your thoughts on all that?
I wouldn't say it's all Storm's responsibility. I I think Omen has made it clear that it happened. The trust kind of evolved around Damien, but at the same time, I don't know. It's a messy situation.
Very
It is
complicated. But
yeah. It's a
I think
very
in the beginning, the
I don't
water
yeah.
started
I
to
don't
drip
know.
at that moment when Omen lost, when he lost the DKW championship to Jason Storm.
Yeah.
And then you saw Jason Storm, who was foundation, turn on the foundation. And then you started to see that mutual respect between Omen Black and Jason Storm. And Soldier's kind of caught in the middle. And Soldier's certainly not going to want Jason Storm to come into his house and take this championship from him, which he calls the R Wrestling Matters Championship. It's the All Wrestling Matters Championship. And it's going to be really exciting to see. I mean, Jason is certainly proving what he's done with ROEW.
Right.
He's just run through everybody there. I mean, he's even run guys like Big Man Cam out of town, and James Taylor still hasn't shown up to the ROEW arena for a company he owns. You have history with James Taylor. You want to talk about that?
James, it took James several years to finally show up here. You think he's just gonna show up to ROEW? You know how much it took for us to get him here?
I'm aware of it. I've pretty much seen it from day one. But let me ask you a question for a minute on that, if you don't mind. Do you think that James Taylor will ever show up to the ROEW arena? I mean, Jason Storm is pretty much almost forcing James Taylor's hand.
I think it's gonna get to a point where James has no other choice, but he has to show up. He has to prove Storm wrong.
I think a lot of people are waiting to see that. I think I think everybody is waiting for that moment. And like you said, it definitely took James a long time to come to the IMF, and we'll have to see what happens. But here's the poster. Here's the first of many posters we're going to put up here. And there it is. What a pretty poster. Whoever designed this poster should definitely get a raise. But Soldier GP and Jason Storm and Rage in the Cage, I'm excited about it. And it's going to be one of those matches you're going to remember for a long time. These two guys have been on a crash collision course. And, we're going to get to some people here in the chat. I think that woke some people up. So this is going to be more than a fight. This is almost the battle lines are being joined. And we also know, you remember this. We go back almost 2 summers ago. And when it was the foundation, I mean, Jason Storm was laid out by Soldier GP. Remember that? Remember that whole thing when Jason Storm was the ROEW champion at that time, and Soldier GP and Omen Black came in here and they decimated Jason Storm. So Jason Storm hasn't forgotten about that.
No, and Jason, he's he's holding grudges, and right now he's on the tour of
it's the revenge tour.
That's all he's doing right now. He's getting back. I guess that's what he's holding grudges in the past, and he won't let go of it.
Well,
people change, Storm.
Well, definitely people change. I agree with you on that. And definitely it's only going to take you a little bit of change to come to the Palo Community Center. And that's the first poster that we're going to put up there. And plus I have something for you still in a little while that I'm going to give you. So yeah, I'm excited about that. By the way, we're going to be here Thursday night with a slew of your favorites in the IMF to talk about the card. It's going to be a slew of different people that we haven't seen. I mean, Jacob Collins is in action against Freddie Daniels. I mean, what do you think there? I was actually speaking to Jacob. Jacob and I speak very frequently. And what do you think here? The gunslinger, another former.
I'm excited to have him. I'm excited to have him. It's a long time coming, I guess. We've had Cash Carter, I guess. We've had him. We've had CJ. We've had Storm. We've had him before. CJ, we had him at our first Winter Clash. We had Jacob at our first Winter Clash. But we haven't had him recently. So it's glad to have him back.
Yeah, I was speaking to Jacob about it, and he's very excited, actually. He's very excited, and I think that's going to be one of those matches that it doesn't hit you because it's such a deep card, but it's going to be one of those underrated matches.
Underrated match.
Underrated match. Definitely underrated match. Speaking of
But
people,
both have came a long way. Both have came a long way in such a short time. I will say that.
oh yeah, I mean Jacob Collins, has definitely come a long way, and I was wondering because I know he's here in the chat. I have to ask you about another guy that is. We have a number of different people that are coming to the IMF for the first time, and one of those people that is coming to the IMF for the first time is a man that I know very well. In fact, a man that has shared a locker room with Anthony Steele, and somebody here in this chat I think definitely knows very well, and it's not Ox McCoy. I'm talking about Cato, the controversial one, Cato. He is going to come here and wrestle Ox McCoy for that IMF Hardcore Championship. He's not coming alone. He's coming with Naomi Nightmare.
That match is going to be a mess.
I mean, literally, let's just say they hopefully they have a few doctors on site here in the Palo community. What do you think happens here? Cato is a man. He has wrestled some really heavy hitters here. He has been in IWA. He's been in Deep South Carnage Cup. He's been in the All Wrestling Matters tournament over in NEW. He has been a staple in deathmatch hardcore wrestling for decades. And he's also shared a locker room, by the way, with Anthony Steele. And I mean, I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
Anthony's been a lot of places because
well, yeah.
I'd be surprised if you haven't shared a locker room with Steele, honestly.
You know what? I'm going to certainly say Anthony will probably remember that one in his next appearance here. But what do you think? I'm really excited to see this because I know Cato very well and what Ox has done. I mean, I don't even know why Nicholas Crenson keeps still wanting Ox McCoy. But
I don't know what his deal is, but if I was Crenson, honestly, I would run the other way.
Well, apparently he's not running to the hills to quote Iron Maiden. But what do you think here? Before I put the poster up.
About the match, like I said, it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be brutal, very brutal. And after it, they're both gonna have my respect at the end of it. No matter who wins, they're gonna have everyone's respect. And if they don't, then you just don't love hardcore wrestling because that's. Oh,
I don't think you love wrestling altogether. Yeah. I think to me, knowing Cato, these are veterans, by the way. These are guys.
Yeah.
Probably
long time.
These guys combined probably have 40 years experience. So in the two of them, I mean, it might even be longer because Cato goes back to early 2001, 2002. And so you're talking about 45 years experience, give or take, between these two guys. These are true veterans. These are guys that are locker room leaders, and they're going to kill each other here coming up next Saturday.
Yeah, lot of time in the business, and it's going to be crazy. It's one of the many crazy matches you're going to see at Rage in the Cage. We have a crazy card.
Maybe it's a good thing in a crazy, sick way that you're injured because you can watch all these matches as a fan and, get a chance to see these different matches from afar. I mean, I know you.
I guess that's the positive. I guess that is the positive part of it. But would it be awesome to be in that ring for this show, man?
You know what? I know I've said this so many times over the years on Sportswire, but I feel like this is almost like the IMF's WrestleMania here. I don't know why, because of all the different people that have been on this platform and they're coming here that aren't in IMF regularly. I mean, we're going to get to a few of them in a minute here, but I mean, Cato's a guy that's been coming on here for a while. We talked about Darkron coming back to the IMF. I mean, we've got D'Angelo the Flame we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. JX is back. Jason Storm. I mean, there's just a slew of people that you don't get a chance to see in the IMF regularly, and it's almost like your guys' WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it out loud.
I mean, either this or Winter Clash for sure. I don't know. Like you said, we have a lot of names this show, a lot of big names. But I would, either this or Winter Clash, I would say is our big like you said, would be our WrestleMania.
I'm very excited about that. And I know Ox is excited. We're going to get to the chat here in a few minutes. And I definitely will get into that. I want to run down some of the other matches real quick. And I want to put a poster up for one other match. Before I get to what I really want to talk to you about is Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest, the hardcore god, and Justin Parsley. We're going to get to that here in a minute. But speaking of people, I do have to ask you about, because I am very excited to see him back here in the IMF, and it's going to be D'Angelo the Flame, JX. You've also got the one and only Damian Saint, who you have a lot of history with, and Matthew Forsaken, who has been certainly a nightmare or a thorn in the underground OG Darkron side. And what do you think here? Because the winner of this match gets a shot at the IMF World Title. So this is, I'm almost a coin toss between all four of these names.
This is gonna be arguably match of the night. You big names like all over the place. You have D'Angelo, like you said, down in Memphis. You have JX, big name in the underground. Forsaken, big name in the underground. Damien, big name in the
Damien the
scene around
Independent
here
for
in
years.
Iowa.
Damien for years. Yes.
Big name. The experience you have in that match too, like you were saying about Kato versus Ox, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
You now obviously you know these men very well.
Mm-hmm.
Forsaken brings that sort of hardcore underground vibe. You've got Saint, who's the veteran, who's clearly the veteran in this match. You've got D'Angelo the Flame, who brings that real raw energy. And then you've got JX, who's almost kind of in a way a wild card here in this. I mean, so what do you think that all of these guys bring to the table, which will eventually lead to one of these guys winning here coming up?
Ooh, I couldn't tell you who I have to predict to win.
Good answer.
Because
That's a good answer for you.
Literally, it just depends on their mood on that day. Like it literally just depends on who has who's fast, who's faster, who can get the upper hand quicker. That's all that really depends on.
We're here with the Prince of Professional Wrestling, Felix Jones. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice. Figuratively and literally, we're all music and wrestling matters here. We will get to the chat here in a minute. But, you think about this match, and D'Angelo the Flame has a lot to prove because his last several months, he's been inactive. He was the All Wrestling Matters champion. He was here a few months ago, and he lost that. He lost that to your dad, your real dad, Soldier GP. Yeah, I can say that. Then you've got JX, who, again, we see him sporadically. We see him almost very rarely in ROEW and IMF. It's certainly, ask Omen. He ain't going to have much nice to say about JX. Then you've got Matthew Forsaken, who, certainly when he comes here, you always remember him. But the guy I'm certainly circling is Damian Saint, because we know that he came back at CyberSlam. We know that he's a part of this new foundation, and we know how much Omen Black deep down, he hates Damian Saint. As you said correctly, he holds Damian Saint responsible for a lot of those shortcomings and downfalls in the foundation. And to me, that's the guy I'm circling in next Saturday in the Palo Community Center, because Damian Saint is the guy that's got the most to gain here to win this match. That's who I'm circling.
Yeah. He probably wants it. I will say he wants it.
He wants it because he's got a lot of unfinished business with Omen. That's just over a year. I mean, we know what those men put each other through. You were there.
Yeah, and he wants to earn it too. I will say there's one thing about Damien. We have our history, like you said. I've wrestled Damien personally, one-on-one. We had that match. I've learned a lot from him. He's one of my mentors in the business. I will say I look up to him. Everyone's seen I've done his entrance. Everyone's I've paid homage to him.
I don't blame you. He's been extremely successful. I mean, him and Levi.
And the way him and Omen are rocking Austin.
Kind of.
Michaels and Brett. They have
Punk and Rollins, you want to say today, or Cena, if you're watching SmackDown.
Saint wants to face Omen, and he wants to be the one to take that title. But on the flip side, the main event, which we will get to probably,
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know if Omen will be champion. So it's a toss in the air. It's a toss in the air.
Yeah, it's a toss in the air. Like I said, I mean, to me, Damian Saint is the one that has the most to gain here,
Mhm.
just because of the history. I mean, yeah, I mean, I know JX and Omen
Mhm.
have history, Forsaken and Omen have history. You know, D'Angelo is looking to recover from losing the All Wrestling Matters World Championship. He was the darling in the scene last year, and he dealt with what you are dealing with right now in injuries. So yeah, those are things that obviously we'll keep an eye on.
I guess they all want I guess they all want it in a way. They
Oh
all
yeah,
have
listen, it's
they all have something to prove or something to gain, I guess.
absolutely. Listen, no question about that. And if you are here, hit the sub button for our friends in the IMF. I am going to get to some people here in the chat in a few minutes. And also, please support the IMF on Facebook. And also, there's a number of different matches. I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on them, but if you are out there, you're going to the Palo Community Center, you should most certainly know about some of these matches. You've also got here the winner will eventually on Summer Bash, which, by the way, is right around the corner here, Summer Bash 3.
Yeah.
And it's going to be their title of their choice, and it's going to be Joe Stone, a man you have plenty of history with, Uric the Viking. You've got Thomas McEntee, who is obviously the RCW
Mhm.
champion. Nicholas Crenton, a man we just mentioned. Darkfire, Ricky Romero, who was the RCW champion. And then two men you definitely know really, really well, Jordan Netz and Jason Myers and Escape the Cage. And I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, just to get your thought on a minute or two on that. I mean, what do you think happens there in that?
I I honestly I couldn't tell you. Like I guess like the Fatal Four Way in a way, it really just depends. There it's really I don't really
I
know
mean,
how to explain it.
McEntee's got the RCW
Yeah,
championship.
he has some momentum coming behind him. He just won the RCW title a couple months ago. Had a successful defend last month. Uh,
Joe
Ricky
Stone
or
is now back in ROEW.
right?
Nicholas Prenson, his for whatever reason has a
He
death
has
wish with Oxford.
a weird obsession with Ox.
But
Are
who
we
you
sure
know who I'm
Crimson
circling
doesn't
in
eat?
again? I'm circling on the two that had maybe in our community's history the greatest run
Mhm.
as tag team champions, objectively speaking. That is
Mhm.
Jordan Netz and Jason Myers. Those are the two guys that I have my eye on most from the House
Mhm.
of Wolves. That's what I think.
It I don't know. It's every man for himself, but you get possibly like you said. I don't personally like them, but you can't deny talent. You can't deny talent, and like you said, they had possibly one of the greatest tag team championship runs in our community.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
what are we gonna see?
I think that's exactly why I'm donating 2 tickets to the Palo Community Center, and I think that's exactly why you should go as well. And I'm going to get to the chat because a lot of people want to talk. Also, Sean Joby and Mephisto are in action. You'll
Mhm.
definitely want to check out that. We'll put that up in a few minutes. But let's get to some people here in the chat. They want to say hello. Zilla is here first. She wants to say hi to the Prince of Professional Wrestling, Felix Jones. And yes, you can certainly say that he is here. I'm going to give him something once we get through some of these comments. I also here have okay, yeah, I got a clip from your cousin wanted me to mention your reel that she made with you and Prince Achia. Yes, you did compete against him for the Midwestern Championship.
I
You had a
think
couple of battles with him, and certainly, I'm sure you'll get the best of him again. But she did want me to mention that. Thank you very much. I am here saying hello to everybody. This person who I seems to know Anthony Steele because she showed up with Anthony Steele on a few weeks ago. That was Anthony Steele's. I don't know what we call this, but yeah, it's Atomic Trash. Casey, I think.
maybe
Yeah, we can say
maybe it's
Casey.
Anthony's flavor of the month.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think this is a bot. I think this is really someone here, probably scouting for Anthony, reporting back to Anthony. Anthony always has his ears and eyes on the ground. You can't deny the fact that Anthony always has his sources. He always has people out there reporting for him. So maybe in this case, I mean, we saw her here a couple of weeks ago.
Anthony's just nosy.
Well, what is
Anthony just don't know how to mind his own business.
Well, but that's what he does. That's what I do. I mean, and she showed her on the
He
screen
doesn't
with
have a
him.
life of he doesn't have a life of his own, so he
Well, she
decides
knows him
to
better than
invade
anybody else. I
everyone
mean,
else's.
well, I mean, maybe it's Anthony. Maybe it really is Anthony rather than Casey.
Could
Okay,
you
well,
imagine if Anthony ran all the female accounts?
you know what? And it is 2025. I mean, it is 2025, and I tend to think that Anthony wouldn't do that because Anthony's always been straightforward over the years. In the 2.5 years I've known him, he's always pretty much
Mhm.
what you see from Anthony is what you get. So I really don't think that he's disguised in her account. I mean, I just don't think that is. I mean, especially when they were back on the screen on Sportswire a couple weeks ago. I mean, that was his big announcement, which I mean,
He, I,
stranger
he's
things have
a
happened.
he's an odd figure.
Well, I mean, you know him very
He-
well. You
He's
know
an
him very
odd
well.
figure.
Dakota is here. She would like to say Felix with the heart. How you doing, Dakota? And I think you know who this is. Go Felix. So she'll be happy in about 5 or 10 minutes when I present something on the screen. Want to say hello to my buddies in and Wrestling Zero, Robbie Ryan. I know Yoshi
How we doing?
Matsuda is here in about 2 weeks. Yeah, I think some people didn't like the intro. Some people, I was stalling time. Yeah, some people like it. I mean, we had great white guitarist Mark Kendall.
I thought the intro was great.
Yeah, I think people like the war chants. I don't know. I mean, most people seem to like the new added war chants. I'm adding war chants and da da. You're a football guy. You're a football player.
Don't listen to hate comments.
No, I mean, obviously, when Anthony's on, he loves it. I mean, he just loves hearing the intros. I mean,
Because Anthony is an attention seeker.
well, I mean, listen, I mean,
Anthony loves anything that's about Anthony.
well, she would know. I mean, she knows him better than anybody else. I mean, I'm not going to put, I mean, unless this is Anthony, she knows. I mean, she knows him better than anybody, literally. But hello there, hello there. Okay, I think, okay. And also, I do want to give my thoughts and prayers to Jordan. Actually, Jordan Nets. He went through something. If you're following Facebook, I like to give my thoughts and prayers to Jordan Nets. So if you're out there. And please, if he's not listening, well, please let him know that I do give my thoughts and prayers. I did wish it to him on Facebook, but he's going through something. I'd rather not say it on the air here, but do keep Jordan Nets, his family, in your thoughts if you don't mind. I'd appreciate that. Once I get over my cold, I'm going to get working on the rest of the bracelets for the IMF. I finally got the time to do so. Yeah, I have a niece that's been sick for I don't know, the entire week. People are just here in New York. Here in New York, it was winter on Sunday, and now I was out in Brooklyn, and I was sweating through my shorts and T-shirt, and you just never know these days. But that's okay. Welcome to 2025. Yes, hello there. Felix, get well. Yes, get better, Felix. Yes, yes, yes. Felix got to be crippled. At this point, use your crutches. I suppose that's the case. I mean, I don't know. And yes, hello to Dakota, Casey, and Karan Phelps. I don't think it's Karan Phelps, but that's okay. We'll give you a pass. There's Karan is different in Brooklyn. That would count. One of the we have these things. They're almost like Syrian or like Lebanese restaurants, and a lot of them are like Karan. But I don't know if they have them in the Midwest. But we'll move on. I digress. I don't see Il Drago in the chat, but we'll say hello to him. And Zilla says hello to Anthony Steele. Maybe he really is here, but you should definitely, Damian Saint, Damian Saint is one of the most important wrestlers in the entire independent scene in Iowa. He is a man. He's been here, by the way, on Sportswire. Let me put that out there.
He really good. He's
very good.
Yeah.
He is the definition of a pro. I feel like when I look at the IMF success, two leaders I look at always, to me, it's Levi McDaniel and Damian Saint for what they've added to the company. That's just my, again, anybody,
the experience they have brought to us,
exactly,
the amount they have helped us. I appreciate both of them
absolutely,
very much.
And we are very honored to have had them both on. Please hit the sub button for our friends in the IMF. Mr. McCoy is here. He does like my intros, by the way. He may not admit it on the air, but he does like the war chants. He is one of the people that likes it. How you doing, Ox? We're doing great. Thank you so much. But he certainly has this to add. James Taylor fears Jason Storm, and that's a shoot. I mean, you know James Taylor. You've wrestled James Taylor, and you gave James Taylor hell. I mean, you nearly put James Taylor, back to the AARP line. I mean, he barely got through that match against you. I watched it live on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was a live match. And do you think he fears Jason Storm, the Puppet Master?
To an extent. I mean, I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing that he did with Soulja, where he was just talking. He was talk. Soulja gave him no other choice but to show up, I guess. So I think that's what Storm's gonna do. He's gonna give Taylor no other choice but to show up and fight him.
Well, I hope that James does show up to ROEW and IMF, but obviously, Atomic Trash, Casey knows Kato and Naomi because, again, they shared a locker room with Anthony Steele. So, obviously, they know each other. So, yeah, and she's going to definitely pull that out of the card. And she's a big fan of Jason Storm. And Cash Carter seems to have a crush on Zilla. And
Zilla's a big fan of everyone.
Well, she's a fan of the House of Wolves, though.
She's a big fan of everyone.
But she's a fan of the House of Wolves.
Which is unfortunate.
And it is Ox McCoy. Yeah, I did hear it somewhere. This was his 20th anniversary. Congratulations. And Kato's been around, I think, since like 2001, and he's trying to pull out all the stops.
Congrats, I guess, Ox. I mean,
I would like a bracelet. Tell me what the bracelet is. I mean, I will buy a bracelet, and you tell me how much it is, and I will pay for the bracelet. Or if you want, I'll donate it for somebody else to wear one, because there's a lot of people that would like to wear a bracelet. And Mother's Day is coming, but my mother wouldn't wear a bracelet for me. She would want me to get off Sportswire and stop the internet. Actually, she sometimes likes these shows. Sometimes she listens to the IMF shows. She doesn't listen to all the wrestling shows, but IMF ones she sometimes listens to. She likes Omen Black.
Does she skip Steele's?
Because actually Steele, what he's usually on is like past her bedtime. So probably not because she's not tuned into him, but she's usually fast asleep.
It's probably for
the well, we'll leave that at that. Hello to Ox. And obviously, she knows D'Angelo the Flame. So there you go. I mean, these are
because
people that
Steele shared a locker room with everyone because he can't keep a job.
Well, he's been here in the IMF, though. Objectively speaking, he's going on now 8 months in the IMF. This is the longest he's been somewhere in a long time, and I mean, he's even threatened to bring the United States Championship to a company he used to work for in June, NOCW. I mean, he's talked about now taking the IMF title like Omen and just bringing it somewhere else.
That's if he has it in June.
That's if good point. I'll give you that. And Casey knows D'Angelo, and she wants to confirm that she's not Anthony Steele, but that's an interesting point. Lady bots. And she said she's definitely not a lady bot. She lived with Steele for 2 years. Thank you for telling us.
Apologize.
Well, I wouldn't apologize. Anthony, they live together. What would
I wouldn't want to live with Steele?
But she did. I mean, she did. I mean,
which is also unfortunate.
I'm saying no comment because I would like to move on because Anthony Steele will be back on Sportswire and she's tuned in, so you can't win either way. So I'm going to say they're both.
Look, I've been in the ring with Steele at King of Halo, and I got kids. Okay, I don't know. You lived with him in Summer I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was caught on camera, but during the match at King of Halo, I took a slice of pizza, and I threw it at Steele.
Yeah, I don't remember.
A bunch of kids were around, and they started grabbing pizza and throwing it at him. And he had pizza sauce all over his jersey, and it was great.
Did he? Well, I hope he washed his jersey. I mean, Casey would probably know about those things. I mean, she lived with him, I would imagine. That's not her issue anymore. But Felix is on Instagram. Give him a follow, and I hope the pizza tastes good in Iowa. I mean, I have pizza almost every day here in Brooklyn most of the time. But it's New York City pizza. I'm in Brooklyn. I mean, hopefully it tastes good. I'm sure it does.
The pizza, it's gonna taste good. There's no doubt.
Good. Well, one day maybe I'll try that pizza in Iowa. For now, I'm in the home confines. But let's get to some more comments here. Karan, if you hear me at the show saying Karan, just know where I got it from. Thanks, Zilla. Well, you got it, Dakota. and I'm playing Aussie rules football tomorrow at a carnival and got 3 games in one day. Jesus Christ.
Damn.
I mean, that's a
Good
lot
luck to you.
that's intense, man. That is intense.
Yeah.
You know, that's all the props in the world. I can't wait to ruin Zilla's day. Well, you do know that the reason your dad and Justin were here, they in some form or another blame Zilla for the show we did before Rage in the Cage. I mean, I don't know
The
enough about that,
Yeah,
but
I remember that one. I appeared on that one actually.
yes, you did. You said
I showed
hello.
up.
And that's kind of where I'm going to segue into something in a minute. So actually, that's a great segue. But he can't keep a job like he can't. You know what? That's not nice. That I am not going anywhere on that because
Oh,
I am a fan of Anthony Steele, and I am a fan of all the people that tune in as fans of his. So that's not fair. He has been here for 8 months. He has been on my platform. He is in my Hall of Fame many times, and I am a Dakota fan, and I am an Anthony Steele fan. Let's just put it that way. I remember that. I think I got that on camera. The amount of pizza sauce was way too funny. I will say this much. One of the worst things that you can have on your shirt or your pants, whatever it is pizza sauce. I can tell you, all the years growing up in Brooklyn, my mother would always get mad. You have pizza sauce again on your shirt and shorts. And I would, because I always eat pizza.
I mean, the amount of white shirts I think I have accidentally ruined with pizza sauce is
100, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad.
Oh, yeah, and for me, I can tell you so many pizza stains I've had. Growing, even though I'm Irish, practically people look at me almost like an Italian. My dad would always say the same thing. But that's a different show for a different time. Felix, it's a great segue because I know the last time you were here on Sportswire with your dad, and we talked about something, and I think it's a good time for me to put something up on the screen. I know it's probably not the way we want to do things because, certainly we'd like to see you in the ring and celebrating what could be and all the different things that'll come up. But I do, because we spoke about it on Sportswire a few weeks ago when your dad and I guess your other dad, Justin Parsley, were here. That always cracks me up. But congratulations, my friend. You are the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. You are number 122. Dakota was number 115, and
Tom,
you have been
no offense to Dakota, but how'd she get one before me, Tom?
Because she was in the chat a lot more than you, and she was really like, I don't know, just timing. But listen,
I did it though.
But to be honest, there's a lot of numbers in the Hall of Fame of people that we really can't mention on here that if I could certainly have a do-over. So if it makes you feel better, if I scratched like 30 names out, you'd be up to like 90 or something like that. I'd probably be ahead of Dakota. But I could re-rank them. I mean,
no.
I could re-rank them. Well, the last guy that got in was Michael McMoney, who's an independent wrestling promoter. So that's a good company to be with, That's not too bad, but you listen. You're in.
Yeah, I did it.
Lex Luger waited I thought Lex Luger wasn't going to get until he died, and he finally got into the Hall of Fame.
I didn't think he was going to do it. I was surprised when they did.
I was legitimately Lex Luger was the one I just didn't think, but you made it, Felix. I know you're in the Hall of Fame already.
Thank you, Tom. I'm very thankful.
You do deserve it. You're the Prince of Professional Wrestling. You'll be in a bunch more times, and I'll take this off the screen, and we'll come back to a few other things. I'll run through some more comments, and Felix deserves. Yes, he does deserve it, and he does deserve it.
I was just messing around.
No, you can be fair. Listen, trust me. I've said this on Sportswire like several times in the last few months. There is like a bunch of Hall of Famers. If I could say like do over and take them off the Hall of Fame, we would certainly do that. So trust me, if I could, I would definitely take like a bunch of names out. But, it doesn't work that way.
Things happen.
Yeah, things happen. And, I'll say this. We've had Rhino here, Savio Vega, Great White. We can go on and on and on. But, great stuff there. But I think let's talk about what the reason I have you here for tonight, which I'm going to put that poster up here for a minute. And Casey does congratulate you. So that's nice from Casey. That means it really is Casey, not Anthony. But let's talk about why you're here. And a match that to me has been 8 18 months in the making. It's the King of Palo winner, Justin Parsley, the PWF champion, one half of the IMF Tag Team Champions, against a man that you were in the ring with not too long ago. The man that is the leader of the House of Wolves, the IMF World Champion, a man that is his platform right here that we are on, the boogeyman of the Midwest, the hardcore god, Omen Black. And what is your thoughts? What's ahead here next Saturday?
I mean, I'm rooting for Justin.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I
I'm
didn't think you
rooting
were
for
rooting for Omen.
Parsley, man. I'm really behind Parsley, but I mean, Omen tried to set me on fire.
Yes, he
Like he literally tried to light me. Like he tried to like pretty much end my life.
well, he was
And
adamant here on
like
this platform a few different times about you, and that you would eventually see the light. You would eventually thank him, and he also referred to himself as Uncle Omen on here in the past.
I right now I wish he wasn't. Like I wish I had no sort of relations with him. The things he has done, like he has done lately, it's not him. Like with him saying that it's not gonna be him at the cage, like how can't it be him? He's the champion. It literally can't be anyone else. It literally has to
No,
be.
maybe there's something that we're gonna see and find out
I
in Rage in the Cage. I mean, what do you think on that?
I guess we're gonna have to find out, which is I guess the scary thing because Parsley don't know what he's preparing for.
He claims he does. He was here last night on Sportswire. They
Well,
had a back and forth, and Parsley was going
I'm
on about talking about an encounter where he quote unquote pinned Omen Black, quote unquote.
I mean I'm praying Parsley has this. I'm praying he's gonna be okay. I mean I'm worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried for him, but at the end of the day, I think he will win the IMF World Heavyweight Championship. I think he will end Omen's reign, and we will have Omen back. Like we will have
But
Omen.
Omen has said that
Omen.
he's walking out of here on December 31st as the IMF World Champion. He has said
I
that he's walking out of here. He's finished.
I don't. He ain't gonna be. He ain't making it to. He ain't making it that far. I don't see anyone letting Omen walk out of here IMF World Champion no matter what. Even if like hypothetically speaking, if Parsley wasn't able to pull this off, and whoever wins that cage match, I don't like because that's competition too. I don't see Omen walking out the company this with this championship.
But he's been adamant about that. And look at what he's done to you. Look at what he's done to Jovi. Look at what he's done to Mephisto.
Mhm.
And even Soldier on here, your dad. I mean, it's just been a rather, I mean, very, very emotional situation. Omen has said things
Mhm.
here on this platform about Soldier and, and, your grandfather and things that, I mean, I don't even want to regurgitate them, but I mean, what Omen has done here these last few months. I mean, Justin
It's
is certainly he's the first real
it's
wrestler, and he's from Mulholland Drive. He's our hall monitor. He's the Jeopardy trivia host. He's the DJ.
Omen.
But I don't know, man.
Omen has done things and said things I don't know if I could ever forgive him. Honestly, like I know part of me like I know it's not him in a way, but
Yeah.
like it was his voice. It was him saying the things that was said, and it's just gonna be if we ever do find Omen again, it's gonna take time to get used to.
Soldier has said that he is trying to get his brother back, save
Mhm.
his brother. Justin mentioned it a little bit in his most recent appearance here. But is it too late?
I don't think it's ever too late. I mean, the
No.
bond that Soldier and Omen had, it was something I thought that was unbreakable. I mean, at that time, it
Yeah, I mean,
felt
we
like,
know what you guys. I
yeah.
mean, the
I
traveling
went
that
to
you guys have
war
done.
with both of them. Like even in the beginning of IMF, they started together. That was
Yeah,
yeah, that was his right hand man. They like bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? Like
these
the amount
guys
of
were
times
yin
I
and
went
yang
to
on
war
here
with
on
them.
Sportswire. I mean, I mean, listen, James is here in the chat. I mean, that James, he and I have seen it firsthand, and I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's Omen's
It,
platform, and Soldier is just as responsible for this platform. But what do you think about the suspension of Reverend Solomon here? How this will go into play? What do you make of that? Him, certainly
it,
well, we can see why here, but I mean, what's your opinions on how this will maybe impact the
oh,
match?
I I don't know. He deserved what he got. He does like he put his hands on dirty. He deserved what he got, but I don't know how like it will affect the way Omen's actions as far as what they're saying. So I
Yeah, I
or
mean, it's a really difficult situation. I mean,
yeah, it's a complex situation and none of it really makes sense at the moment, I guess.
but I mean, you mentioned it. You were in the ring recently with Omen.
Mhm.
Justin has a long history. In fact, this history actually starts here on this platform with
Mhm.
Justin and Omen Black because this goes back to when Justin was getting inducted here in the Hall of Fame for the first time, and Omen interrupted him on the side of the road, actually going almost to meet Mr. Parsley. And there you go, and you come out there. But I mean, going into all of this, what happens though if Justin doesn't win next Saturday? What happens if Justin gets vanquished by
Um
Omen? I mean, this new foundation, but
I
what do you think?
I don't know what would really be next. I guess we go back to the drawing board. We have to come up with something we have to come up with something to stop it because it's already getting out of hand as it is. We need to put it into it before they do take over. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like,
right now this is getting really vicious. We've seen what Anthony wants to do to Il Drago, talking about Darkron's cancer. We've seen what Omen tried to do to you. We've seen what Omen has said about Soldier, your dad, and your grandfather. We've seen what's happened here with Reverend Solomon. We've seen with what Justin Parsley has certainly gone through with Omen Black and what he said about him, and he's mentioned his family and many times here on this platform, and you've got just a situation right now where it's more than just a match here. These are more than just matches coming up here
it,
in the Palo Community Center.
they're all gonna be fights. Like I can say that. Like they're all looking towards being more than just wrestling. They're looking to be brutal,
Yeah.
and a lot's gonna happen. Um, a
And I
lot.
see you talking to Justin there. Now, have you been talking a lot to Justin about
I
what's ahead next Saturday? I mean, you and
I
him, I mean, I'm sure you guys are talking. I mean, Justin's a big talker.
I'm hoping that he's in the right mental state as it comes to him individually, but Justin's Justin. He's all around a phenomenal performer,
I agree with
and
that. I love
yeah,
watching Justin in the ring. I always loved watching him
watching
in the ring.
Justin in the ring is if you haven't watched a Justin Parsley match, there is something wrong with you. And if you don't like Justin Parsley's wrestling matches, then you don't love wrestling.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm gonna pretty much go with what you said. And speaking of people, say his name. He appears like Joe Hendry, and I think he meant to say the Prince of Professional Wrestling, not Price of Professional Wrestling. But I think I got the point. But he's here, and I know we're gonna see him here on Thursday. I know that
Mhm,
Thursday night is gonna be a really personal night.
mhm,
I said this here before. And I almost feel like this is your guys' WrestleMania. I know
Mhm.
Winter Clash has been big. I know there's been other shows, but I don't know what's on the line, who's coming here next Saturday. I'm not going to say that the future of the IMF is determined by these matches, but I
Mhm.
definitely think the course going forward is going to significantly be changed one way or another. And
Yeah.
these outcomes of these matches depend on it. I kind of feel like next Saturday in the Palo Community Center,
A lot can
especially some of these
change.
matches. Yeah, that's what
A
I think.
lot
I think
can
the
change.
landscape, especially when it comes to the match between Soldier and Jason Storm. I
Mhm.
think certainly Steel, Kron, and Drago. I mean, well, all three men are eerily quiet tonight. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
These men are preparing for war, like you said correctly. Omen and Justin. I mean, let's not even. We've talked about that. I mean, then you've got other matches, Escape from the Cage. You've got,
Mhm.
I mean, just so many other.
It's a long
Four-way
list
match for
of
the number one contendership for the IMF World Title. I mean,
it's
these
a
matches.
long list of it's a long list of crazy matches.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like the landscape of the IMF is going to change
Mhm.
drastically. I mean,
Yeah.
you say that sometimes and it don't mean much, but to me, this time it does mean that. And
I can see the future of IMF I guess you could say kind of relies on what happens.
yeah,
Like
I mean, Dustin's talked about, oh, I gotta save the IMF, and he talked about it here on Sportswire from
because
Omen.
what happens if Justin does when Justin does save the IMF, what happens next? What
I
happens
mean, I don't know. That's a
what
good
happens to
question.
the
I really
IMF
don't know.
hardcore title if Kato does take it from Ox?
That's you know what? I hadn't thought of that. Cato comes in here, who's certainly been in a lot of locker rooms. He's been a
Mhm.
veteran. He's been in there with a lot of these different big names. Jimmy Controversy, he's got history
Mhm.
with. He's got history with the likes of Jesse Daniels, Tarzan Duran, old Mickey Knuckles he shared locker rooms with, Brian White, the deathmatch juggler. I mean, it's a long list of deathmatch people, right?
Mhm.
And he walks away and takes that hardcore title, which has been synonymous with Ox McCoy. He has certainly made that IMF hardcore championship. I know
Right.
Omen's had the title, others have had it, but he's made that hardcore title into what it is.
I think when you
Justin,
think of hardcore and you think of IMF, I think you kind of think of two people, Omen and Ox.
yep, and I think that, and
Yeah.
these men have been in the ring together, and I think that that's why, maybe from what you're saying, I gather that this is also, we've talked about in the past that the foundation is cracking, but could the Wolves turn to puppy dogs like Darkron has said? Because if you think about it, right, you could have maybe Kato win the hardcore championship. Maybe Il Drago or Darkron
This
wins the
could
United States championship.
this
Justin
could be the
possibly wins
fall of
the
the
IMF
house.
World title. Yeah, I mean, could the House of Wolves be facing maybe their biggest test yet? And we know Steel and Omen Black have had some minor problems of late. I mean, maybe instead of the foundation, it's more about the House of Wolves right now.
Right? It's fall. It's the house is at the point where this show is either make or break. It's
Yeah,
either they take everything or they lose everything.
yeah.
It's
It's a
it's up in
gamble.
the air.
Yeah, it's a gamble here, and we'll get to a few more comments here for a few more minutes. We'll be here with Felix for a few more minutes. Obviously, we certainly hope Felix also recovers from his injury. And also, we got here. Unfortunately, I'm going to be late tonight. The earliest I can leave work is 7. Well, that's not too good. I'm sorry to hear. Not happening. He'll have to kill me. Yeah, I figured that. And Kato, I think that is such an intriguing match because Kato. I mean, I've seen what Kato has done in the ring, and I've seen what Ox
Mhm.
has done in the ring. That's very,
It's gonna
very.
be crazy. It's gonna be messy.
He can't talk tonight. Okay, well, see you Thursday. There's no one I've been happier to meet and greet and get to know anyone more than you. Let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. He said it again the same time. And he's DJing and chatting. So what are you playing?
Mhm.
What music? And the lights are going off, which means we got to get ready to get this show off the air. Unless we see something, maybe Omen Black is coming to greeting you. But all
The
right, so
Undertaker.
anything else that you want to say? I know you want to obviously get well, and anything else that's
Um,
on here before we let you go?
Just stay tuned, I guess. Big plans coming for IMF. Watch the recovery process, I guess. And when I do come back, the journey continues.
That's it, man. Listen, the grind never stops, and the best is yet to come. And Felix is in the Hall of Fame, and your cousin just shared the link on Instagram. Appreciate that. Your cousin wanted to say congratulations, and she always posts, but she oddly posts photos also with Anthony Steele. I mean, what else is new? Yeah, Felix kick rocks. That's why we're letting you go, because I don't want what's happened to Sean Jovi on this platform before. I don't want what's happened to everybody else. So. Anything else you want to say? I'll put your Instagram up here before we sign. Anything else you want to say?
Just May 10th, Saturday, May 10th, Rage in the Cage. Be expecting a crazy show.
I agree with you on that, and that's why I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to donating 2 tickets to the show. If you have a chance, I see some people here on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Go give Felix a follow. Give him a follow. He's a newest Hall of Famer, and he's got a lot of great stuff. He is definitely the future of professional wrestling. I do agree with Mr. Parsley on that. And if Omen comes out from behind, yeah, that's why we're getting off the air tonight. We don't want any of those things. This man is injured. He needs to recover. He needs to get well. We've taken enough of his time. And thank you, my friend. We appreciate you for all that you do. Congratulations. Yeah, Dakota is right. I should have put you like number 31. But, listen, I got you in, and I'm a man of my word. But also, yeah, well, technically you are in for a couple of these things. IMF, ROEW, but you'll get more inductions.
First personal one.
First personal one. You'll get more, and you'll hopefully have more than Justin or Anthony, but certainly more than Anthony at least. But
hopefully, I can't let.
But this is the future, and this is the Prince of Professional Wrestling. I think he's the president of professional wrestling, and he is Mr. Felix Jones. And Felix will certainly be rehabbing, but he'll be back out there in the ring quicker than a New York Minute. But we will have more coverage of Rage in the Cage. As a reminder, Thursday night, probably figure around the same time, 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk with everybody. We'll have a lot to talk about. We'll preview some of the shows that we'll see coming up before then, but we'll also preview these guys here on Thursday. You'll see probably some of the names we talked about, if not almost all of them. And also would like to say that from Justin Parsley that he hopes that you'll be in his corner.
I will be. I'm gonna be at the show. I know. I'm injured, but I gotta be there to support my boy.
Good. And Jason Storm is not feared by James Taylor, and he says he says that James Taylor is feared by Jason Storm. And Casey says good night. I mean, so Casey would like to say good night, I guess, on behalf of Anthony, maybe. I mean, Anthony, I'm sure this will go back to Anthony. I have no doubt that Casey will be telling Anthony that
she's going to report back to headquarters.
And then Anthony will find out. And then when he comes back on the Sportswire, he's going to remember his receipts. Maybe that they'll be there watching together. Maybe Casey will be back with Anthony watching and, reporting and, I think I will try to get more people in the Hall of Fame. Thank you, Dakota, for that. Yes, that is my point. I do. And we have musicians in the Hall of Fame too, but yes, I am trying. Yes. But give me names that haven't been on, have a criminal record. Just give me ones that haven't been for, let's say, little kitty crazy charges. Let's go with that. How about that? But
yeah.
Let's move on. We're not going to talk about that. Thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally, where all music and wrestling matters. This is Felix Jones. He will be back out there very soon. I have tomorrow more coverage. Tomorrow afternoon, I have Bubba Jones, I think, from Thunder Mountain Wrestling. I have no idea who he is, but we'll figure it out. And Il Drago, who, by the way, is getting ready to move, did want to come in and say hello and hope you're feeling better. And Drago and I were speaking. I hope he and the missus are moving safely, and Anthony Steele is not trying to burn their lease on the house they're moving into. Hopefully, because Anthony will do it. He is the type to do that. So let's hope Anthony's not doing that.
Like I said, he's an odd figure.
Anthony, let's hope that the legal advice I've given you in the past, you do not use to try to burn this man's lease into his house. But if he does try that, don't worry, El Drago. I will make sure you move into that house with any way possible I can. But thank you, everybody. Enough. We'll see you tomorrow. Hit the sub button for the IMF. Hit the sub button for us if you'd like. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportzwire Radio, where all music and all wrestling matters. This is Felix Jones. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to Casey, especially Casey, for tuning in. Dakota, Zilla, as always, El Drago, and everybody else. And I'll see you tomorrow.